Are you looking to start your own healing practice from home, but you are just not quite sure on how to start the whole process? Hi, I'm Debbie K. Barker, and I love supporting holistic body workers to grow their own healing practice so that they can be of greater service to their local community. In this video, I'm going to talk about your training, your market research, your equipment that you need, your legal requirements, and marketing. Now, I know there is a lot of information about those topics. In this video, I just want to give you a brief overview of each one of them. If you haven't already, then I suggest that you quickly download the link here to grab your 50 top tips on how you can grow your holistic business with ease in your community. I'll put the link in the description below for you to check it out. Okay, now let's jump into the video. For the most part, I'm going to assume that you have done some training in your chosen modality. Just make sure that you're operating within your legal requirements for the country that you live in. Some countries are very different. Some of them are very regulated countries. Other countries may not be. I know I'm based here in Australia, and our regulations are quite deregulated, which is, I think, is a great thing. However, make sure you're operating within your scope of practice and following the guidelines of the country that you live in. This is a time for you to do some homework. Actually physically go out of your room, out of your home, and go sit in a park somewhere and just have a look at who is living in your neighborhood, because these people will help grow your practice, and you need to be able to have offerings that they actually want to purchase. So don't assume. Get off your butt, go outside and have a look, and just find out who's living around your community and who you can be of service to the most. Is it mostly young mothers? Is it mostly teenagers? Is it mostly a mature age group of people living in your community? Because these are going to be your actual clients. So make sure that you actually know who you are living beside, who's in your area. The next thing I want you to consider is actually to become a client. Have a look at your local area, find out other people in your area who are offering a similar service, and be a client of them. Check out what they're actually doing. Have a look at what their pricings. Have a look at what the treatments they're offering. Have a look at what your client experience is like when you go and see them. And also check out the space that they are working from. Go into it with your eyes open and your mind open as well, and just look and listen and feel what the whole area is. This is part of your market research, is getting to know what's out there in your community and how you can offer something that is slightly different to what is actually currently being offered. And the last thing to consider when you're doing your market research is how much can your actual local community afford to pay for your services. Now, yes, you will have to go through and you do some sums and work out what your price that you are comfortable charging and what your cost of your business is to run. But also you've got to keep in mind of where you're actually living. If you are living in a very affluent areas, then you can often charge a lot more. But if you are living in an area that is struggling, your prices will need to obviously match where you are living. So just keep that in mind. And I'll put together a video for you, which I will link in here, that you can quickly break down your break-even costs for most holistic businesses. And they'll give you a guide on how you can structure your own pricing for your services. Let's face it, pricing is a loaded issue, and there's lots of pros and cons about each method that you do. And often when you're first starting out, you're a little bit unsure and you're a bit nervous and you're comparing yourself with everybody else, and you try and set your prices in line with what the local community is. That may or may not be a good thing. There's no right or wrong here. But what I do suggest, that if you want to charge, say, argument's sake, just round figures, $100 for your treatments, but you're just starting out and you don't think you are worth $100 just yet, I would suggest that you actually offer that as an introductory price. And we could go more into that. And there's techniques on how you actually do that. But just know that pricing is a loaded subject and everyone's going to have a different response to that. How a single mother, sole income earner who's got 4 kids to raise, the way that she will price her services will be a lot different to somebody who is doing it as a hobby business. So there's no right or wrong. You have to work out what your budget is, what your cost of living costs are, and then price your services accordingly to that. And then you've got to market your butt off to make sure that you reach your goals of supporting your own lifestyle with your holistic business. So there's no right or wrong, but there are techniques that you can do to get support along the way. Setting up your space. Now don't go fancy, guys. Just stick with the basics. Go down to Kmart or Walmart or wherever you happen to live. Find a $2 shop in your local area. Most of them have a good range of cheap prints and fake plants and things like that you can spread around your room. So just get $100 together and go and buy some products from those stores and just start setting up your space nice and cheaply. Do not go and buy fancy equipment. I often tell my students when they come to a class, buy a second-hand table and make it all pretty and put a fancy blanket over it, all that kind of stuff to hide. The other thing you need to do is set up your own space is actually get a proper email address, a business-related email address, and also a phone number for your business. So whether that be you have to buy another little cheap mobile phone that you just use for business only. So you keep your private number separate than your business number. So there's a couple of things that you need to do is set your space up with nice cheap furnishings. Get a phone number, set up your business with a proper email address. And that can also tie into a business name as well. And we can talk about that in more details. But just before you dive in with the business name, a couple of things I want to mention is keep it simple, stupid. Honestly, they don't need to be fancy because people aren't looking for fancy names. Also, I just want to mention from my point of view, I am dyslexic. I will muddle up letters in words all the time. And when somebody gives me their business name and I have to think, how the hell do I spell that? That's not good. You do not want that. Honestly, you just want your local community and a couple words after it. You do not need to do anything fancy. There are a lot of people out there who are dyslexic and will struggle to spell words and they will mix letters up all the time. And when you're typing in your business into Google search or into Facebook, it can be a real issue to actually find business. I know that's something that I struggle with a lot. So I'm ultra sensitive to business names. So do make sure that you keep it nice and simple. And also you want to be found in Google search. If someone's traveling through your town, they're not going to be looking up your business name. They'll be typing in your town and 1 or 2 words after that. And they'll be doing quick Google search to find you. And obviously you want to be found. So keep your business name nice and simple. And we'll talk more about business names in a future video. Once you have decided on a business name, the next step is to register that name with the government. And below this video, I will put in a link for Australia and New Zealand on how you actually go about doing that. But if you are living in another country, USA, UK, Japan, Dubai, whatever else, then you need to make sure that you check in with your government and find out what the rules and regulations around that are, and obviously go through and register your business name with them. After you have registered your business name, the next thing to do is actually apply for an ABN number, which is the Australian business number or tax file number, if you want to say it that way, for your business. In New Zealand, I think it's called the IRD number. Maybe that's not correct. Check, let me know if that's incorrect. But make sure that you are doing everything right for your country in terms of taxations. And I'm not an accountant, so reach out to your accountant or whoever's in your bookkeeping and ask them the questions. They should be able to give you the correct answers for your country. And lastly, once you've got your business number done, your business name, your ABN number done, Then you need to check with your local council to make sure there's any changes to your council and what actually your requirements are. Some councils are really strategic and they want you to have the old fire escape plan set up and all that kind of stuff, and other areas are quite relaxed. It's a good idea to check that every couple of years because they do change the rules and you can get caught out very easily. So make sure that you double check. I know for where I live, it's pretty relaxed. I don't need to do too much. But I did have one of my students at one of my classes who lives in a really remote area, and she was telling me that in her local council they actually need a really in-depth plan that she has to go through and set up. So be aware that things do change. Marketing. Oh my gosh, this is like a minefield when it comes to marketing, and there are many different ways to market your business and grow your visibility so that you can be visible in your local area, people to get to know you and what you can actually do for them. It's a loaded subject, and there are many coaches out there who will tell you that their way is the only way to do it. It's not true. Like, don't buy into that BS. Find your way of marketing your practice with ease. It doesn't need to cost a fortune to market your business. It does need you to be consistent, and you need to know how to put together ads and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, when you're starting out growing your business, you can just use Facebook groups and things like that to grow it, which is a slow process, very labor intensive, but it does work. I personally am a big fan of Facebook ads. They've been very successful for my business, and they've been the fastest way that I've been able to grow my practice. Some people are awesome at networking. That could work for you as well. But don't go out and spend huge sums of money on marketing your practice when you're first starting out, because you kind of need to do some bit of market research first, and you might find that you have this idea of what you want to offer, and in 6 months time you could change your mind and you want to redirect into something else. And if you spent thousands of dollars putting together a marketing campaign, putting ads in newspaper, things like that, it could be potentially a waste of money. So just keep it simple, stupid. Find a method that works for you, and if you need any help, below I'll put a link in a way that you can grow your business with ease with our 2K club. The next point I want to discuss with you is online booking. I know it's a little bit controversial. There are pros and cons to it. You have to decide whether or not you want to do online booking or not. My personal opinion is when you are first starting out, don't worry about it. You can always do it in 6 months time or 12 months time down the road. Initially, when you're first starting out, I would suggest just to have people message you. When it comes to products, there are lots of things that you can do, and each modality will have their own specific requirements. But in general, just make sure that your space has a bed, some lights, some chairs for people to sit on, maybe a mirror, side tables for you to be working, and obviously whatever equipment you may need, whether there be oil or crystals or whatever else you think is relevant for what your clients are wanting in their session. Don't go overboard. You can build things up as you go. Remember that the whole aim is to have your business pay for the equipment that it needs, rather than you dipping into your savings account to actually purchase stuff. You want your business to be able to pay for that. So earn the money first in your practice, then go out and buy more equipment as you can. Now that you have a bit of an understanding of what you need to do to start your own holistic business from home, then if you need any more support, then I strongly suggest that you download my 50 hot tips for growing your holistic practice with ease. And I'll make sure that I put a description in the link below for you to download that. I love answering any questions that you have, and if you've got suggestions for future videos, then please let me know and just drop a comment in the video below. If you're new here and you got some value out of this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe. That really does encourage me to continue to push through my little challenges that I'm having and create more videos for you. And until then, I will see you guys next week.